Hello friends, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the series which we have started for IBPS A4 mains exam, that is agriculture. And today this is lecture number 33, and as part of that series we are going to do concept of the day today, and the topic is preservatives. See, as we all know that when to increase the shelf life, or to when there is glut in the market, that product, the vegetables and fruits or various other agriculture items, they should be stored. And here comes the role of preservatives. Especially these preservatives are very much useful in storing or improving the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, and even sometimes marine food also, seafood. So here we shall see that. So let's start with the session. So friends, I have one more announcement. We at EduTap, we have launched courses for IBPS A4 2020-21, and as I have promised, we have launched the courses for IBPS A4 Mains 2020-21, and you can find the links to the demo courses as well as payment links in the description box below. So you can go through that and avail the offer. So friends, the first question that comes into your to your mind is, what exactly is this preservative? See, preservative is a substance or chemical generally that is added to products to prevent decomposition by microbial growth or by any undesirable chemical changes. It might not be only due to microbial growth only, but it can be due to any undesirable chemical changes also. To avoid all these or to prevent this, preservatives are added, and these generally come under food additives. And in general, the preservation can be implemented in two modes. One is chemical method or chemical mode, and the other is physical. Chemical preservation is that sort of preservation of foods wherein chemical compounds are added to the product. But physical preservation, it is that type of preservation wherein without adding any chemicals, they are directly either refrigerated or dried and then preserved for further use. And some physical techniques for food preservation, which include dehydration, UVC radiation, freeze drying, and refrigeration. Like uh, best example is fishes. When the fishermen, they catch more fish, they simply dry them out in the open sun, and then they store them, and later that can be even consumed by themselves, or even dry fish is also one of the delicacies that is enjoyed by people. So that's one best example that you can consider for physical preservation. Chemical preservation, there's so many that we shall see. What are they? And before that, let us try to understand what's the importance of preservatives. Now see, preservatives as such, they reduce the risk of foodborne infections, that obvious. Decreases microbial spoilage, that also obvious. Next, sometimes it can so happen that they can preserve the fresh attributes and nutritional quality of the products, and it helps in increasing the shelf life of products. That's what all preservation, the basic principle behind preservation and the use of preservatives is to increase the shelf life of products. And sometimes these preservatives can also serve as antioxidants, stabilizers, firming agents, and also sometimes even moisture retainers as well. So friends, here comes the types of preservatives. See, preservatives can be of two major types. One is natural preservatives, which are, the name itself suggests, natural. They are completely produced by the nature and can be directly extracted from the nature in the form of natural products without any chemical adulteration. Best example, common salt, sugar, spices, honey, wood smoke, glucose, dextrose. These are all the natural preservatives that are used. Common salt for pickles. So more the amount of salt that is added to that, more the shelf life is that can be increased. Sugar also, in sugar solution. Best example, murabba, that amla murabba or ginger murabba. That all sugar is added to them. Lots of sugar is added to them, and then in that way they are preserved. Next comes is chemical preservatives. As the name itself suggests, these preservatives, they are produced artificially, and they include chemicals like sodium benzoate, benzoic acid, parabens, sorbates, sulfites, nitrites, citric acid, potassium sorbates, etc. Now we shall see how these are going to help in preservation of food. So friends, here first we shall see about natural preservatives, which include salt. Salt, generally they act as dehydrator, and this is used in food or in brine solution. Brine solution is nothing but the salt solution at particular percentage. This will help in increasing the osmotic pressure, wherein which prevents the microbial growth. Now along with that, salt added to food also ionizes, resulting chlorine ions, which is harmful to microorganisms, and these salts can be used in various food products and especially pickles. The Indian pickles also, when at home, when our parents or grandmothers, they prepare that pickle, they see that more of oil and salt is added to that. This is that technology, that scientific reason behind that is that all this which we have discussed, increasing the osmotic pressure, which prevents the microbial growth. At the same time, the chlorine ions, salt is nothing but sodium chloride, that chlorine ions, they are very harmful to the microorganisms, as well as they preserve that nature, the freshness of that product. So this is about salt. So friends, the natural preservative, that is sugar. Here the food that is preserved with sugar, in that the water activity cannot be reduced below 0.845. This is a constant, and this value is sufficient for bacteria and yeast inhibition. That is the sugar that is being added to that food. And here the sugar preserving action is determined by two ratios. One is the ratio between the total sugar quantity in the finished product and the total sugar concentration in liquid phase. And here the concentration of 60% in the finished product, it assures food preservation. That is, the jams and jellies, whatever is there is some TSS, total soluble sugar. So that should be at particular percentage that needs to be maintained, so that they have good shelf life. Either jams or jellies or squashes, all these need to maintain this total soluble sugars in them at a particular percentage. So here for the finished product, a concentration of 60% it assures good food preservation. So friends, next comes is chemical preservatives. We have seen there are so many: sulfide, sulfur dioxide, uh, benzoic acid, all those. So we shall see each of these now. See, sulfides and sulfur dioxide, these are generally used in wine production, and these are the most effective inhibitor known for fruit juices and dried fruits. How? As they act as fungistats and bacteriostats. They arrest the growth of fungus and bacteria. Now sulfur dioxide, it is generally used in fruit juices to protect that fresh flavor. See, if they are kept for long time, the flavor, the freshness, that might get reduced. But with the usage of the sulfur dioxide, the fruits or vegetables, there they protect that fresh flavor. Along with that, they also act as antioxidant and prevent the discoloration of fruits, especially potassium metabisulfite by enzymatic browning. So when there are enzymes that are present because of the microbes, there might be a chance that even microbes or these enzymes are naturally present in fruits and vegetables. Because of that, there might be some discoloration. But if they are treated with the sulfur dioxide, then the the color, the discoloration of that fruits can be avoided. Next comes is benzoic acid. Benzoic acid, as well as its salts, that its compounds, they are most effective against yeast and bacteria in foods which are relatively acidic in nature. And benzoic acid is generally used in carbonated beverages, fruits, drinks, jams, jellies, salted minerals, all, and it is also used to preserve the pickled fishes. So friends, next comes is parabens. These again are, these chemical preservatives again are most effective against bacteria, molds and yeast, and they are generally used in fruit juices, pickled beets, pickled tomatoes, and even uh, tortillas. These are the tortillas in which these parabens are used, and parabens are mostly used in cosmetics as well. Next is sorbates. These again, they are effective against yeast and molds, and these sorbates, they are generally used in cheese, preservation of cheese, dried fruits, wines and pickles. Next comes the citric acid. It is not only used as preservative but as emulsifying agent, and it is mostly found in canned and jarred products because it prevents botulism. Botulina, it's an organism, microorganism that spoils the food. So to avoid that botulism, it's sometimes even very poisonous, dangerous also. So this citric acid is used to prevent that, and it is used in beer, frozen fish, ice cream, caramels, canned fruits and vegetables as well. Next comes is nitrites. Now nitrites, they are the one chemical preservative that are used, generally used to preserve meat and fishes, and here these nitrites, they help in stabilizing the pink color of meat. Along with that, they also prevent the growth of clostridium, which is found in hams and meats, and that is one dangerous, that can cause food poisoning in in the person or the animal that consume this meat. So friends, along with that, we shall also see E numbering. See these, there are, various food additives like colors, preservatives, antioxidants, thickeners or emulsifiers, acidity regulators, flavor enhancers, antibiotics, glazing agents, gases, sweeteners or additional additives that all come under these food additives. Now, see, there might be various chemical names and various, local names to all this. So what European Union they have done is they have given an E numbering. This is generally applicable in European Union only. And these are nothing but they're simply the code numbers used to identify those food additives, whether that have been shown to be safe and officially approved for use in food. Only if they're officially approved that can be used. And here they are, generally considered for the grading in European Union only, but slowly these are getting acceptable in other countries as well, and India is one of them. And here, as you can see, E100 to 199, they give the codes for colors, like E100 that is for curcumin, that is turmeric, and or E150 for caramel, E162 for beetroot red, and here they can be either natural or artificial also. Preservatives, they come under, which we are doing today, that these preservatives they come under E200 to E299 numbering. And here, as you can see here, E202 potassium sorbate, E211 sodium benzoate, and even antioxidants. For everything they have code so that it can be easily detectable. And here one flavor enhancer that doctors say that we shouldn't use, but that is generally used in preserving or enhancing the flavor of food is E621. You know what E621 is? It is monosodium glutamate, that is MSG, which generally doctors say that if consumed in large amounts that can create very various health problems in humans. So these are the various numbering that is given to various food additives that are mentioned here. Now, what are the side effects of these preservatives? If they are even natural preservatives also, there are various side effects like no sugar when there is high, that might lead to diabetes, or it can even they can produce negative effects on diabetic patients. High blood pressure, salt. Sometimes they are even cancerous also, cancer causing skin problems, headaches, nausea, allergies, hyperactivity in children. See, these are all are the various side effects of preservatives. So friends, previous year questions here. This was a question that was asked in one of the IBPS A4 mains exam. I don't exactly remember the year in which this was asked, but this was asked in the exam. And the question says, which of the following is the most commonly used, chemical preservative to preserve the color of fruits? And the correct answer is potassium metabisulfite. Now, based on this only, I'm going to ask you a question today for the question of the day series. The answer of the day for today's session, in the last lecture I had asked you a question: what is the hormone that is responsible for healing of wounds in plants? And the correct answer is chromatin. It is a plant hormone which is secreted by the plants, in response to wound or injury in plants. Now this is nothing but a precursor of a related hormone called chromatic acid, which is called as wound hormone, since it appears around wound and it stimulates the cell division, thereby helps in the healing process of that wound in plants. So friends, here comes the question of the day of this lecture, today's lecture. And here it says, what is the most common processes of preservation of fruits and vegetables with sulfites and metabisulfites? See, the process of preservation of fruits and vegetables is different when it comes to usage of the sulfites, metasulfites and sulfur dioxide as well. So I need the names of those two processes.